On June 10, 2014, a group of Smashers was gathered together by Nintendo to compete on the first public build of Smash 4. The invited list was a mixed bag. Old school legends like Ken and Korean DJ, players who were about to be on their way out like PPMD and MacD, and two soon-to-be monsters of their respective games, Hungrybox and Zero. Calling this tournament competitive Smash Bros would be considered heresy by even the most casual Smash fans, with the rule set being a 4-man free-for-all, including items on for most of the competition's rounds. But inspiration often comes from the most unexpected of places, and this invitational is where the competitive Smash bug first bit Kevin Maples. Kevin had always been into Smash Bros and gaming in general growing up, something he actually picked up from his parents who were also gamers. And this introduction into competitive gaming came as an obvious natural progression from someone like Kevin who had always had gaming as a part of his life. As he anxiously awaited for the release of Smash 4, Kevin looked for more competitive Smash to hold him over until then, stumbling upon Melee events like EVO that kept him occupied until the release of Smash 4 in November of 2014. Kevin, who went by the tag of Rhyme and was a Smash 4 Falcon main, started gearing up to compete in his first ever major, SmashCon 2015, on his home turf. And for most Smash players, this is where they realize that even though they're able to crush their friends, there are a lot of players much better than them out there. But Kevin had quite a different path from the rest, a theme that permeates through his competitive Smash career. He was a set away from making it out of pools at his very first major. And Kevin was 13 at the time. A newly minted teen made it further in bracket at his first major than 90% of Smash players will ever in their entire career. While Smash 4 was a door into competitive Smash, that didn't keep him from dabbling in other entries in the series, as he would play Melee casually at the Smash 4 events that he competed at. But slowly this dabbling piqued Kevin's interest in Melee further and further, and after about a year or so, Kevin left Smash 4 behind and began putting his full focus in Melee as a Marth main. He was able to bring over a lot of fundamentals from his Smash 4 game, especially with a character like Marth. But although he lived in MDVA, one of the East Coast's strongest regions, there was also brewing up-and-comer Zane around the same time. Maples wasn't able to regularly compete at locals because he lived more than an hour away from these events. Trying to balance high school and 2 hours of driving to locals just wasn't in the cards for Kevin. But with his parents' full support behind him, Kevin kept practicing Melee. And as Kevin got deeper into Melee in the community, he started to notice that Marth really wasn't the perfect fit for him. He points to going 3-2 in pools at Pound 2016 as the final straw for his run maining Marth. And from that point on, he decided to play exclusively Fox in bracket, who he still plays today. However, the switch to maining Fox wasn't completely smooth. Less than a year after the switch, Kevin was competing at a local at a nearby high school. He expected to sweep the tournament pretty easily, but ended up coming in the grand finals on the loser's side to face off with Guru, known then as Freezy Pops. Kevin was able to reset the bracket, but didn't quite have the stamina to take the second set, leaving him to finish at second place. Maples also highlights this as an important point in his come up in the Melee scene, as it showed him that although he had an incredible amount of natural talent, it doesn't mean that he can just demolish the competition without any practice. So Kevin took to grinding away at the game and came back to beat Guru when they met next month and hasn't dropped a cent to him since. Kevin's Smash career continued on, and his first hint that he was starting to break into a higher level of play came at Pound Underground in 2018. The 200 plus entry event included many of the East Coast's most talented players like Zane, Lod, IBDW, and Stango, and Kevin was able to take home a 17th place showing, tying with some players you might be more familiar with like Cool Lime, Calvar, and Darktooth. His losses came from two incredible players who started in the region, Chudat and Rishi, both of who he was able to take a game off of. But on top of that, he grabbed wins from Curb's Game & Watch, beat Melee legend Wes, and took his first ever top 100 win over Darktooth. 2018 continued with Kevin putting up a good showing for a player of his caliber, like 4th at the Arcadian and 97th at the 2018 edition of SmashCon, but he wasn't able to put up anything that matched his Pound Underground performance and caused him to float out of the collective Melee consciousness for a bit as his hype slowly wore off. And it stayed that way until mid-2019, where Kevin started making his name known yet again. Maples set the tone for his year at his first major, Pound 2019, where he finished 25th, losing to Joyboy and Hbox, while beating names recognizable to dedicated fans like Mr. F, Hoss Delgado, and G-Town Tom. Pound set the tone not in wins, but in placements, as 33rd, a placement only one loss less than 25th, would be the lowest we'd see Kevin place all year. Kevin continued humming the same tune with a 33rd at Gommel, losing this time to Wizrobe and Pisces. But coming up next on the calendar was SmashCon 2019, Kevin's first major series right on his home turf. Kevin was born and raised in the region, suffered through the pangs of defeat, and also picked up his first big wins, all here in MDVA. And Kevin didn't just add some more wins with his 33rd finish at SmashCon. He added some huge wins that didn't just say to the community that he was a force to be reckoned with. Kevin got up on the main stage and said to his home crowd, "Save one more spot for MDVA in the top 100 this year." SFAT has been a bastion of consistency throughout his lengthy Melee career, but that didn't stop Kevin from knocking the top 15 players into losers at SmashCon. Kevin was also able to grab a Vortex win before being escorted out of the bracket by Lod and Mog. But 2 top 100 wins wasn't enough for the natural, and he knew he could do better than 33rd. So Kevin took 2 weeks to buff out the scratches that he noticed during his SmashCon run and headed up the East Coast to shine in New England. And 2 weeks of practice had Kevin jumping up from a 33rd finish at SmashCon that put his foot in the door for a top 100 appearance into a 9th at Shine that swung the door wide open. Most of his sets were close, but with the composure of a player twice his age, Kevin pulled out Game 5 wins against 2 Saint and 40 Seconds Puffs, as well as taking sets over Calvar and Tiramisu. And 9th was as far as he could go, with Maples taking a game off of Swedish before he knocked him down onto loser's side, and Leffen ending up finishing the job in the lower bracket. So in just a few weeks, Kevin Maples went from a kid from MDVA who had small flashes of brilliance in Smash into a near lock for a top 100 player with 5 wins on ranked players. Beyond this, Kevin has a 9th at the Script 2 and a 33rd at main stage under his belt that pad out the year and add more data points attendance wise, but the 3 events we discussed make the core of his resume for the year. And he was only able to attend the latter of these 2 events thanks to $500 raised by popular streamer Ludwig, who fronted $100 of his own money to get Kevin out to main stage. After Genesis Black on the weekend of November 9th, it doesn't look like he'll be attending any more big events in this last pretty barren month of Melee. So be sure to keep your eyes out for the newly ranked Natural to continue his climb to the top in 2020. If you want to keep up with Kevin, you can follow him over on Twitter at @KevinMaples_. And if you enjoy content pieces like this, consider subscribing to the channel and supporting on Patreon or by subscribing to me over on Twitch.tv. And that about does it for me. I've been SaveAsUntitled, and I will see you guys next time.